you.
Talk about handsome. Look at those piercing blue eyes.
Oh, keep going. Keep saying nice things.
Not since Peter O'Toole in Lawrence of Arabia.
Wow. The bar.
Bingo.
Cool. Jake Hamilton, Good Day Chicago. I don't know how I could if I could get two-shot the whole time.
Good Day Chicago. Good Day Chicago. My kind of town. Chicago.
That's good.
My kind of town. Chicago. Name the three things at the end of it. The Wrigley Building.
Oh, I don't know.
Chicago is...
I don't know.
Comiskey Ballpark. Chicago is... Several other. The Union Stockyards. Chicago is... One town that won't let you down in my kind of town. Yeah, it's great. And then the other Chicago song, you know, Chicago, Chicago, that toddling town, that toddler town, Chicago. You know.
This is gold.
I saw a man who danced with his wife. Da 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 da. You know, et cetera, et cetera.
You're a genius. I didn't know. Are we rolling? Oh my God.
This is gold.
Yeah, this is gold.
Note to editor, don't cut that out.
No, they will not.
I'm
they
putting
will
it
not.
on my reel if you don't use it.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Good to see you guys again.
Hey, good to see you.
I'm going to admit that I am a little weird. That I've always felt that if I were an actor, my dream would to be like killed by a dinosaur in a Jurassic movie. In fact, I don't know if you guys know this. There was a contest a few years ago where if you gave money to charity, you won a chance to be killed.
We know it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I feel like is a testament to the fact that we all kind of want that.
100%.
If you could give yourself a great dinosaur death, what's the dinosaur you'd want? How bloody would you want it to be? What would your dinosaur death be?
I'd choose those little tiny dinosaurs. And I'd make it like a 45-minute scene.
and we're going like,
Yeah.
this is still.
They'd start at my toes. Now you would just see me act. Almost an entire hour, anguish and pain. It'd be pretty good.
I kind of want to see, not that I want to see you in pain, but I kind of want to
Yeah.
see you do it.
Yeah, well, let's listen. You got an iPhone? Talk to my agent. Listen, I don't do it for free. That's the problem.
Yeah, he's a union man. We got to do this. Great dinosaur death.
Oh my gosh. I mean, there's nothing better than what Chris just said, I think. I mean, when you actually asked the question, my brain went to the most boring death imaginable. I swear to God, I imagined passing away in the forest and just disintegrating and no animals eating me or anything.
No, an herbivore eating you like a year later.
Exactly,
when
like
you
part
become
of the
part
tree.
of the soil.
Yeah.
That's a very
what my
life
head
finds a
went
way
to.
kind of
That's
thing.
honestly what my head imagined.
Okay, so it's a one-shot. It's time-lapse over the course of a year.
Yes.
You
Terrence
decompose,
Malick has directed this
Yes.
Jurassic film.
Yeah, thank you.
Just life finds a way, and then
Life
it's like
finds
there's
a way.
a flower.
And you turn
kinda
into
beautiful.
a clover, and then bloop,
Yep.
get eaten.
Yes, yeah.
That's actually kind of beautiful. I actually kind of
Yeah,
love that.
well,
Two very different deaths.
it's like could not better
Personify who we are and what our values are.
That's right.
I was wondering if we could address what has been a fan theory for a very long time, which is, and this was way back when you guys were first cast, was that Owen was going to end up being the little boy from the Sam's opening scene of the original
Right.
Jurassic Park.
Yes.
I'm curious as to when you guys first heard that. Did you ever ask anyone, wait, is this the case? And is Sam aware that that is a very popular fan theory?
I have heard that fan theory. I love that as a fan theory. I mean, it very well may be, but I know for me, I had created an entire backstory for the character that is not that, but no one ever consulted me on what my backstory was, and so I can't say as to whether or not is the case. I really do love that idea, and if anything, I'm honored that they would think that little Owen would be that kid. He was very funny and charming, so...
I think they're two separate kids, and I think I want to see that kid
Where that
come
kid is
back
at.
in some future iteration of something.
Right now, Universal's behind the scenes going, yeah, that sounds pretty good.
They're like, right,
Yes.
that's the direction
Yes,
we need to
that's
go
it.
in.
Let's go.
Oh, Bryce, okay, all right.
Some good ideas over here.
Jeff just told me that whenever they wrapped filming on the original '93 Jurassic Park, that Steven Spielberg gave the main cast members a full Velociraptor signed by him that he has in a room with lights on, marble all around. Were you guys given any of the dinosaurs?
What?
A full Velociraptor.
That's not true.
I read it and I said, is this a true? He goes, no, we all got a Velociraptor.
Chris, we're not being treated well enough.
You guys didn't get a little Triceratops or? Like
No.
I literally had to steal a prop
I
to
have
to
nothing
have
because
anything
I
from
don't
the movie.
steal anything, and so he's got lots of little trinkets.
What did you steal?
I stole a tooth on the third wound. I stole my knife, my costume, and my clicker on the first one, as well as my Isla Nublar badge. And then on the second one, I got the costume and the knife.
But no dinosaurs.
I can't smuggle a dinosaur off
Not with
the
that
set.
attitude.
Yeah.
Wait, this is.
They got the Raptors.
That's what it is. He said that all the cast.
I think we
Here's
should
the
maybe
thing.
have
Jeff's
it
a
now.
compulsive liar.
It's actually not. That's amazing. That's amazing. That's amazing.
Guys, you have been kind to me for a very, very. All of us have been talking for a long time, and I just want you to know that it's never lost on me, and I always appreciate getting the opportunity to talk. This is not a normal life, so I appreciate every single second that I get to do this. So seriously, thank you very much.
you
Thank
too.
you guys for
Feel the
everything. I
same
appreciate
way.
it. Thank you guys.
We're
Love
glad
you
to
guys.
get back to
yes,
it.
yes,
Yeah.
love you guys. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Good stuff.
Oh, thank you
So
guys.
fun.
Good to see you again, sir.
Good to see you, sir.
I've always heard that the original cast back in '93, that when you guys were done filming, you were given a full Velociraptor by Steven Spielberg that was signed by him. Is that true? And if so, where do you have it?
Yes, it is true. I built a whole wing onto my house just to house that. It's empty. Yes, yes. It's, imagine, if you will, an open space. I got some marble. Well, I faux painted. And it's in the middle of the. Oh my God, I'm losing my. I'm getting so excited. I'm losing my vestigial cough drop. And there's a light that shines on. It's almost like in Raiders of the Lost Ark,
Yes!
when he enters the tomb,
Yeah.
and there it is. And before he does that, that's what it's like.
Is this still there?
It better be, unless I have a Nest camera on it every moment of the day, and I constantly check it.
That's incredible.
Is it still there?
That's,
Yes.
I really want one of those.
I may bestow that one.
I would be honored, and I would put it in a room very similar with a light and a Nest camera, just for you. You know, my favorite scene, I've told you this before, my favorite scene in the history of movies is the T-Rex breakout from the original Jurassic Park.
Well, that's a
It's-
heck of a
it's a
sequence.
genius scene.
Mr. Steven Spielberg, you know, he's given us many of those kind of moments. Jaws,
Yes.
E.T., flying
Raiders,
over
the
moon.
bowler.
You know, yes, a lucky guy am I to be in. Yeah, that is, isn't it?
It's genius. I've heard a story, and I'm curious if it's true, that the water effect, all the rain and the water on the studio set, messed with the hydraulics of the T-Rex, and during your lunch breaks, your downtime, it would come alive and scare the hell out of everyone. Is that a true story? Do you have any memory of that happening?
Yeah. It is, you know, and it may have been that one. I think in the first movie, that sequence was a Dennis Muren new creation and landmark, game-changing, cinema-changing a depiction of a dinosaur that we were just looking at a tennis ball. But I think in the second one, there were some Stan Winston, Oscar-winning animatronic things, big in the soundstage, and yes, and they'd get wet, and oh yeah, you were not supposed to go near it because you could get.
It would just randomly come alive.
yeah, which is the same with me.
You just you get wet and just like a
When
gremlin.
I get wet, yes, I do. Some things happen, I can't control them,
Hey.
you know.
Well, you know, a life lesson there.
Yes.
You know, I'm curious though, you know, it's hard to imagine that we're here for the 6th film, which as a fan of this franchise is astounding for me. When you guys were on the set of the original, did Steven ever mention the word sequel? Did he ever talk about continuing, even Lost World by that point? Were you guys ever talking sequel? No.
Not to my memory and not within my ear holes. I don't think so. No, maybe, you know, he's had ideas in mind, but I don't think so. Check with the great man himself. I'll bet he'll tell a tale of, you know, it was,
I always knew.
Well, I know. I'll bet he'll tell a tale that, I thought that was it, and I don't think he's made another sequel, has he? He certainly didn't make Jaws 2, 3, 4,
That's correct.
14, 15, 16. No, I don't. Well, Raiders of the Lost Ark.
That's
is a
true.
series,
That's true. Yep.
And so I don't know what I'm talking about, but if I had to guess, I'd say at the moment. I don't think he had that in mind, but you know what? What do I know? He's cooking on all burners.
I'll cut you loose on this. We have an amazing, the Field Museum in Chicago has an incredible, complete Sue the T-Rex dinosaur. And I've always been curious, because there's that scene in Lost World where people are always staring at you on the subway. Do you have the capacity to like go to a natural history museum and stand in front of a dinosaur without people looking and going, "It's Jeff Goldblum"?
Yes. Oh, yeah, you'd be surprised. People are aggressively uninterested all over the place, much to my chagrin. Hey, you know, I was in a little picture of college red. No, that's not true. But yes, sure. I could see all sorts of exhibits. You know, when I was a kid, I was first struck by the exhibit in the Carnegie Museum outside of Pittsburgh. That's where I'm from. And I think it had the biggest at the time, or one of the biggest, collection of dinosaur bones. And they had a big T-Rex, you know, in a beautiful hall. And I was mesmerized.
There was a lot to be mesmerized by, including you in this film, sir. Seriously, I love you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for always being so kind to me,
I love you beneath the bottom of my heart, underneath, and then it goes all the way back up to the top again.
How are you?
Good.
Nice to see you.
Nice to meet you.
Oh my God, I love you so much.
Oh, thank you.
And oh, thank you. My grandmother said if you respect someone, you got a dress to show them.
Oh my goodness.
So if you ever do a junket and I'm in shorts and
then I know.
a t-shirt,
Then I know.
you
then I
done
know.
messed up.
Just I'm done. Just
You're
kill
done.
the press.
You done. Good to go?
Yes.
Oh, awesome. Jake Hamilton, Good Day Chicago. So good to see you.
Likewise.
I'm going to be honest with you. I loved you so much in this movie that I kept retroactively thinking, man, all the other great Jurassic movies that like you should have been in from the beginning. If you could have put your character into any scene from the original film just to see how she handled it, because she handled herself.
Yes, very much
What
so.
is the scene from the original film that you most wish she could have been in?
I just, you know what? I talked about this a lot. It's really obnoxious. I should probably stop. But
Oh, that means I'm asking a question everyone's asking. then.
No, not at all. No, it's very specific. You know, I remember of course, went back and like read the books.
Sure.
You know, 'cause
which
I'm
are
very...
very violent. Like,
Oh, they're
like,
very violent.
If it was a page-to-page adaptation, it would be an R-rated film.
It would not.
It was like in the opening pages. It doesn't like a baby get his face eaten off or something. Yeah.
Yes.
Spielberg didn't do that.
Yeah, he did not do
Yeah.
that. He did not do that. He did not do that. But Sarah Harding in the books was very Kayla.
Yeah.
You know, I think so much of that characterization, you know, I took, and obviously Julianne Moore is brilliant, and she like, you know, crushed it, and she was kind of ahead of everybody in terms of like, mentally ahead of everybody, like 10 steps ahead. But in terms of her like that capable, that Sarah Harding like capable quality from the books, I was like, why didn't y'all do that?
One of my favorite lines, it's from from Lost World, and it's I think where Vince Vaughn's, they're all screaming, Sarah, and he goes, Sarah Harding, and Goldblum goes, how many Sarahs do you think are on this island?
Yeah,
like, I always thought that was such a great like 1-2 punch.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you know this, a few years back, they actually had a contest where if you gave a little money to charity, you could win the chance to be killed by a dinosaur in a Jurassic film.
Yeah.
Which made me feel better because I've always thought I was that weirdo that if I were an actor, I'd want to die in a Jurassic movie.
Of course.
Give yourself the ultimate dinosaur death. What's the dinosaur that does it? How bloody do you want it to be? How much pain do you want to go through?
Because I believe in, obviously, there's a lot of whimsy. I have a preference for whimsy.
I'm not picking that up at all. Not in the least bit.
I would say, you know, there's that moment where Owen Grady is like, falls into the water.
Yes.
Water. Like, rip me to shreds in the water. Let's let the, like, you want to see the, like, blood floating through.
And
know
that's
what I mean?
when we
Shoot
do
it
the
in, like,
Universal
slow
crossover
motion.
and Jaws comes in.
Correct.
Because it's all
We got
Universal.
you. We haven't done a Fast 9 underwater, you know what I mean? Like, we need, like, a Fast series. We need a submarine. We've gone to space.
And it's all about family.
I got it.
See? And this all works because it's all Universal.
It's all Universal. We got
E.T.
you.
flies over the moon at some point. I can do this all day.
Yeah.
I love, oh my God. Do you have a favorite Jurassic death?
Of all of them? Well, only because, here's a little behind the scenes. So when Colin told me that Sam was coming back, he was like, Sam's coming back. I thought he meant Samuel L. Jackson.
I was just like what, I would say
For
like one arm.
obvious
Like
reasons.
the second you said Sam, I go, did I miss?
You're like, did I
something?
miss something? So I kid you not, it wasn't until I worked with Sam Neill on Invasion before we started this that I was like, oh, you meant the other Sam.
Oh, the other Sam.
But I was like, we didn't see it, you know, because the whole like thing that happened in Hawaii
Yes.
with the like storm
Yeah.
and da-da-da-da,
Yeah.
it changed how you
I've
saw
always
his
wanted to
death
know,
on
do
screen.
we know what his death was supposed to be?
No, I still don't know.
I should have wait.
That's a good question.
If I find out, I'll DM you.
Yeah,
if you
thank
find
you.
out, you DM me.
Okay, deal.
Because it's
I
like
really will.
he always talks about like Mace Windu, like, oh, we never saw Mace Windu. Like his character could just be walking
He
around with
could
one
just-
arm.
Thank you.
'Cause
It's not too late.
It's not too late.
That's my pitch for Jurassic World Universe, as I'm calling it.
I am actually all for that. I'm all for it. I recently saw just a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
I have videos on my phone. The Chicago Symphony Orchestra showing the film on the big screen, but doing the score live.
Woo!
No joke, I've seen the original film more than any other film in my life. It was like I saw for the first time.
Yeah.
What does that score do for you? Because that's my favorite movie score of all time, that John Williams original Jurassic score. What is that? What are the feels that you got going?
I mean, it's very deep. It's very different. You know, we were super immersed in the process, so I tried to not watch any dailies. You know, I definitely watched like playback and stuff like that. But Colin was like walking around the hotel showing everybody
love that.
everything. Like he had everyone up in a room. Like, look what we did today. You know what I mean? So
I mean, I'm gonna go watch these tapes as soon as I walk out of this room.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So there's nothing like seeing the movie for the first time and just feeling that score. You know, it's also why it's just like it's such a theater movie in every way.
Yeah.
Like you want to feel that sound.
Glad you guys held it.
You know.
Glad you guys
too.
held it. No peacock for this
Yeah.
one.
No peacock.
Eventually.
Yeah, it'll be there.
Eventually,
It'll
yeah,
be there.
eventually, yeah.
It'll be there.
I love you so much. If you can't tell, seriously, thank you so much. Thank you for being so amazing. You're
Absolutely.
fantastic. I appreciate it.
Thank
Have a
you.
wonderful day.
You too.
And I just want to express frustration that we're not going to get more Archive 81.
Hey,
so because
talk to Netflix.
Like it was an actual television masterpiece.
Oh, wow.
Like your performance on that was just amazing.
Thank
so,
you, sir.
Thank you
Very
for letting
kind.
me geek out for a second.
No, it's a pleasure. Appreciate
Awesome.
that.
Jake Hamilton, Good Day Chicago. Good to see you, sir.
Likewise. How's it going?
It's going so well. Watching you in this film, it just made me retroactively wish, because I'm such a fan, that we'd had you in some of the originals, some of the earlier films. Thinking back, we all love that original '93 film. What is the scene in the original you'd love to see your character in, just to see how he handled it?
The moment when they first see the dinosaurs is one of my favorite scenes of movie history.
Now,
period.
are you wearing sunglasses? Do you do that?
Yeah.
Do you do the
yeah.
or is your head the one that gets tilted?
Man.
What's your brachio? Like I just saw a brachiosaurus scene.
I got that. Man, are you a huge fan of these movies?
I'm a 5-year-old that is in a 34-year-old's body. I haven't aged since seeing it at 5.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta be Alan Grant in that moment.
Oh, you gotta do that. You gotta do that.
Cool.
Because that's so cool too.
Yeah, right?
And whenever I take my sunglasses, there's always a moment whenever I take my
Exactly.
sunglasses,
You think
anytime,
about
that I always like. But then people are like, "Why is his hand
Like,
shaking?"
he's just,
but
he's
it's
just
Chicago.
living the past. Yeah.
So I don't know if you know this. A few years back, there was this contest for charity where if you paid a little bit of money, you won the chance to be killed by a dinosaur in a Jurassic film,
I did know about that.
which I think is the greatest thing ever.
That's wild.
And it also it makes me feel better because I've always felt that if I were an actor, I would want to die in a Jurassic film, like just a really brutal death. Like I don't want to make it to the end. I want like a really brutal death. Give yourself.
What's wrong with people?
I don't know. I'm gonna make you do it. Give yourself a dinosaur death.
Oh, I can't do it.
Not with that attitude.
I can't. I don't want to die.
You don't want you don't want like the T-Rex, like
Zero.
lawyer on the toilet.
0% of me wants that. This is a phenomenon that I just found out about. Like
That people want to be killed in a.
And I was like, what is the world? What's going on
what
here?
does that say about us that we all?
You guys gotta talk to somebody. This is crazy.
Do you have a favorite dinosaur death in the series, or do you turn away when they happen?
Ned Landry had it coming.
A lot of them had it. You know who didn't have it coming?
Who's that?
The assistant from Jurassic World. That poor girl. You know what I'm talking about? Like picked up by the pterodactyl. Picked up by another pterodactyl, dropped in the water, picked back up, and then
that's
all she was one. And I just recently rewatched this. She was trying to do her wedding. She was trying to plan her wedding.
This is terrible.
With a groom who may have been troublesome. She was trying to watch these two little brat kids. She didn't have it coming.
She didn't have it coming.
Ned Landry had it coming.
Ned Landry was a bad dude.
Newman. I recently went and watched the original film with the Chicago Symphony Orchestra just like 3 weeks ago. They played on the big screen.
I gotta hang out with you, man.
Dude, come on, man. I had an extra ticket. Extra ticket. More tickets than friends.
Man. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
So they played on the big screen in the Chicago Symphony Orchestra. It was like watching it for the first time.
It's amazing.
The John Williams score, it's my favorite score of all
beautiful,
time.
yeah.
He's the closest we'll ever get to like a Mozart or a Beethoven.
Wow.
I think. What does that score do for you? When you hear that, what are the feels?
It is moving. There's something about it that's just. I mean, it's beautiful music, and regardless of what movie it's. I mean, the guy. I think you might. He is a genius. I mean, the scores that he's created over the years is
even just
incredible.
like Jaws, even like the two beats in Jaws, even just the
man,
it shouldn't work.
But yeah.
So
it just brings you back to that time in that place and how you felt like just like it's just like what a good score should do. It brings you right where you need to be.
That the CSO, the Chicago Symphony Orchestra, they do that every 3 or 4 months. They do a John Williams film. During the holidays, they did Home Alone. In June.
I didn't know he did Home Alone.
Yeah, he did Home Alone.
Oh, wow.
In June, they're doing, if you want to come out, Return of the Jedi. I saw A New Hope and Empire, and now they're doing Return of the Jedi.
Chicago in the summer.
Dude, come on,
that
man.
Might be a
It's
thing.
literally 70. I'm flying home to 75 degrees.
That's okay.
Come on. I have a very comfortable fold-out couch. You're welcome to it.
Hey,
My
I
man.
appreciate. I'm going to hold you to that.
Yeah, as you should. They're giving me the rap. Seriously, I'm such a fan, man. Seriously, thank you so much for your
much.
time. I really appreciate you. Seriously,
Likewise.
thank you very much.
Thank you, man.
Thank you,
Take
guys.
care.
I'm going to be honest with you, sir. The John Williams score for the original film was my favorite movie score of all time. I just saw the Chicago Symphony Orchestra play the film on the big screen and then conduct live.
Yeah.
This is why I wouldn't be a good director, because I would just want to, like, every beat in the film, I'd be like, this is a good moment.
know what we're
This
gonna
is a
need.
good moment.
Yeah.
How do you know when to use it, when to not overuse it, and maybe when to not use it at all?
In most cases, we don't use it at all because when we use it, we want it to be special.
And it is.
You know,
It is.
and
It's very well done.
We all know, Michael Giacchino is an extraordinary composer. He's been my collaborator for 3 movies now, and
I
so
argue maybe the next John Williams.
he's amazing. And so giving him the opportunity to do something truly original, and he did some really, new and bold stuff in this movie. And then also, we pretty much do the whole score, and then we look at it and think about, okay, what moment would this be the most effective? And I'm sure we're both thinking of the same one.
Yes.
There
was an audible
yeah.
gasp. Like I hope you know that's the reaction it's getting.
Oh, that's great.
Whenever you did that. I want to talk to you about some of the scenes you've gotten to do over the course of these films. Phenomenal. Like things that I wish 5-year-old me could have seen, the kid that saw the original 93 original. What is a scene from the 93 original that as a director you most look at that and go, oh, that would have been fun to direct. I would have liked to have done that myself.
It's hard for me to think about it because I know I wouldn't have done as good a job as Steven Spielberg did.
But
in
it's
1993.
just a different vision. It's a completely different.
Yeah, it is very different. I mean, look, The Raptors in the Kitchen is all time, and I think being able to, as a director, to me the most fun stuff is the slow, suspenseful stuff. I mean, for me in this movie, it was Claire and the Therizinosaurus, where she goes underwater.
Oh my God,
that was my favorite.
The sound design on that.
Yeah, incredible.
The sound design. The whole movie. The sound. Like there's a breathing sound that's like. It's just like I'm doing it poorly, but it's.
Well, it has echolocation there to that little clicking that goes all the way around. Yeah, Skywalker did an incredible job.
It seemed like this movie more so than the others, more practical, tangible. I can touch them. Dinosaurs.
Way more,
I feel like, why is that important? Because as a fan, I was ecstatic to see that because it made me feel like I know what a dinosaur feels like.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of the franchise, and we did it in both of the previous Jurassic World movies, and this is 3 times as many as both of them, and it's partially because we had a little bit more resources, but also because
they're
for
more
me,
expensive than CGI, right?
They are, and yet I believe in the end, just because the hardest part is that you have to commit to them, and oftentimes when we make a CG dinosaur, you can have it do a bunch of different things. You kind of figure it out, but in this. That's the animal, and it's as if you have an actor on set. And I think what it does for the other actors is so extraordinary, and that they feel like they're actually emoting across from something real.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you this question, and I don't know if you're going to be able to answer it, but I'm going to ask it anyway. You gave my generation something I would never thought we were going to see, which was these actors being brought back together again, and it's incredible. Like what the amount of excitement for this is unbelievable.
Thank you.
We were really close to you doing that with something similar with Star Wars. A lot of people have seen the script that's come out, and you were going to bring a lot of Star Wars legends back together into one. Can you tell me at all how far you got into contacting those actors from Star Wars and how far you got into making that scene a reality? Because based on what I've read, that would have been awesome.
Well, I mean, all I can say is I did get to know Mark Hamill, and that was incredible. I didn't get to know Carrie Fisher because we lost her, and so there was a horrible tragedy that happened in the middle of that that was so emotional for everybody involved that when I think about those characters, that's what I think about. What it did do is really let me focus in on what matters the most to us when we bring back these characters who were introduced to us as children. And in some ways, it feels like a dry run for the death of our own parents. And I think that treating it with absolute respect, but also not being too careful and sending them on an adventure. And I think, to me, what I love most about this movie, they're in it the whole time. They're, the plot is driven by Ellie Sattler, and they go through just as much danger and peril as Chris and Bryce do. And that, to me, was the most respectful thing I could do. That's what honors them.
Yeah, and there are so many great, for those of us who've seen the original films 1,000 times, little moments where you go, oh, I feel like he did that for me. Like little, even Jeff buttoning his shirt. I'll cut you loose on this one. I know this is being promoted as like the end of the Jurassic era. many of us don't want to let it go. Is this the end for now? Like, no, but also like, where do you go from here? Because it also does have a very like a sense of finality to it.
Excuse me. It's a great question, and I think that it's up to the next generation of filmmakers to answer.
Not my problem.
Yeah, well, I think that we did change fundamentally just the equilibrium on the planet in our story, and I think there's got to be some kid out there who's playing with dinosaur toys in their sandbox who might be able to come in and say, oh no, I know what you do here.
Yeah, I know you're close friends with Steven Spielberg. Is there a tangible way to do a Jaws sequel without it being sacrilege to the original?
Oh, that would be up to him. He's the only person who gets to decide that. So I'm going to choose not to weigh in.
Very well said, sir. Seriously, if you can't tell, I'm such a fan of yours, sir, and I appreciate you always being so kind to me. Yeah, seriously, thank you very much. I appreciate you. Thank you. Bye, guys.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.